Welcome, everyone, to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to helping you navigate life's complexities with clarity, peace, and financial understanding. Are you over 40 and looking for guidance on how to build mental resilience and find financial stability? You've come to the right place. Today, we're diving deep into a powerful Buddhist principle, the art of letting go to build unshakable mental strength. This isn't just about theory. It's about practical steps you can take right now to transform your mindset. If you find value in this content, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. We bring you content every week to help navigate the challenges of life. You might think that controlling every aspect of your life will bring you peace, but what if the very act of trying to control everything is the root cause of your suffering? As the Buddha wisely said, you only lose what you cling to. Yet, when things feel uncertain, our natural inclination is to cling even harder. We start to panic, meticulously plan, and obsess over every detail, desperately hoping that if we just do enough, feel enough, or prepare enough, we won't break under the pressure. But life, as we all know, simply doesn't work that way. So, let me ask you a challenging question. How much of your stress, fear, and relentless overthinking stems from trying to control things that are simply beyond your control? In this video, we're not just paying lip service to the idea of letting go. We're going to delve into the nuts and bolts of building mental strength through practical application. You'll uncover the mindset shifts that transformed warriors, monks, and philosophers of old into individuals with unshakable minds. This knowledge isn't just for scholars. It's for anyone seeking a more centered and resilient life. The reality is that life is inherently chaotic, unpredictable, and sometimes brutally indifferent. But once you learn this one fundamental rule, everything becomes remarkably easier to navigate. If you take away only one thing from this video, let it be this core principle. This single concept holds the key to unlocking a more peaceful and fulfilling life. And stick around until the end because we have a powerful bonus lesson that might just set you free. If you are enjoying this video, please click like and consider subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth. It is only going to get better. Number 1, let go or be dragged. Have you ever stopped to notice just how much of your personal suffering arises from your attempts to control the uncontrollable? There's a simple truth here, yet it's often the most difficult to accept: let go or be dragged. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand, clenching your fist tighter and tighter, thinking that somehow, this action will protect you from the searing heat. But the longer you hold onto it, the more intensely it burns. This is precisely what we do with pain, anger, regret, clinging to these negative emotions, foolishly hoping they will grant us power or clarity, when all they truly offer is prolonged suffering. Buddhist philosophy doesn't demand that you cease feeling. Rather, it gently guides you to stop attaching to those feelings. There's a profound difference between the two. You only lose what you cling to. These words, attributed to the Buddha, cut through the cacophony of modern anxiety like a sharp sword. Yet, letting go often feels like weakness, doesn't it? Like surrendering control. But here's the paradox at the heart of it all: by resisting reality, we become its prisoner. Conversely, by fully accepting reality, we become truly free. Have you ever clung tightly to a thought or a memory, desperately hoping it would somehow change if you only ruminated on it enough? Maybe it's the looming fear of an uncertain future, the lingering guilt over something you left unsaid, or the nagging feeling that your life should look vastly different by now. What if the very act of resistance is what's keeping you feeling hopelessly stuck? In the simple yet profound words of a Zen teaching, let go, or be dragged. The dragging isn't life itself, it's your stubborn refusal to flow with its currents. Modern life relentlessly sells us the illusion of control. Subscribe to this channel, if you haven't already. We're constantly taught to meticulously plan everything, to prepare for every conceivable outcome, and to predict every unexpected twist of fate. But what part of you still fiercely resists the unknown? What aspect of your being cannot simply sit still in the face of uncertainty? Because that is where true peace resides, not in the known, but in the serene space where you cease forcing clarity and allow things to be precisely as they are. Take a moment to ask yourself, what am I currently holding onto that no longer serves me? Perhaps it's an outdated identity, a limiting belief, or an unrealistic expectation that weighs heavily on your spirit. The truth is, the tighter you grip, the more you suffer, and the more you release, the lighter life feels. Here's a powerful shift in perspective. The next time you feel overwhelmed, instead of instinctively asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking a different question: what am I still clinging to? This single question has the transformative power to change everything. Take a moment, right now, to reflect. Is there something deep within your heart that's yearning to be released, a tension you've been actively ignoring, a truth you've been hesitant to accept? Perhaps it's time to finally let go. Not because life will magically become perfect overnight, but because you will no longer be actively fighting against it. Embracing uncertainty isn't about giving up, it's about growing up. It's about walking alongside the storm rather than desperately hiding from the rain. It's about trusting that true peace isn't found in having all the answers, but in cultivating your ability to stand still and centered within the heart of the questions. And when you truly let go, not just in theory, but in actionable practice, life doesn't necessarily become easier because the chaos abruptly ends. It becomes easier because you finally stop clinging to the burning coal. Your journey to inner peace begins the very moment you stop arguing with what is. Number 2, observe without absorbing. Storms don't politely ask for your permission. They come and go, wild and uninvited, as part of life. But the sky never resists. It holds everything and clings to nothing. This is how your mind can be if you stop trying to be the storm and start becoming the sky. Observe without absorbing. That's the guiding rule. Yet, in a world that constantly demands your reaction, your energy, your unwavering attention, this is far from easy. But it is undeniably possible. And it's the defining difference between drowning in the chaos and gracefully rising above it. You are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are not your anxiety. These are simply weather patterns, transient phenomena passing through your consciousness. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This isn't just a beautiful sentiment, it's a crucial survival strategy for the modern soul. Because if you keep looking outward for peace in a world consumed by chaos, you'll only find more confusion. But when you cultivate the ability to observe your mind without identifying with it, everything fundamentally shifts. If you are enjoying the content on Wisdom and Wealth, please click like. Imagine this: you're sitting in a crowded room. Everyone's voice is louder than yours. Thoughts shout. Emotions scream. But then you pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, this is just a thought. I am not this thought. Suddenly, there's space. Not because the noise magically disappeared, but because you stopped absorbing it. You became the expansive sky. There's a moment in every day, perhaps during a stressful conversation, a sudden wave of self-doubt, or scrolling endlessly through a barrage of bad news, where you have a choice. Will you impulsively react to the storm, or will you consciously watch it pass? That split-second decision is what defines your inner peace. Most people absorb everything like emotional sponges. They soak up anger, fear, comparison, and then they wonder why they feel so heavy and burdened. But you don't have to be that person. You can be the watcher, the witness, the awareness behind it all. The next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, can I let this moment move through me without becoming it? That simple question alone has the power to soften the sharpest edges of anxiety. Because emotions aren't your enemy, they're simply messengers. Thoughts aren't facts, they're patterns. When you can see them without becoming them, you unlock a power most people never access: emotional freedom. In Buddhist practice, this is mindfulness at its highest expression. Not just sitting still with closed eyes, but moving through life like a mountain, unshaken, present, aware. Imagine what your day would look like if you didn't absorb every petty irritation, every negative comment, every fleeting doubt. Imagine being so still and centered inside that nothing could move you without your explicit permission. This isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming wise. It's about knowing when to fiercely protect your inner peace and how to do it without closing your heart. If you are truly enlightened by this video, please subscribe and share. The light will continue to shine through. And when you master this, when you choose to observe without absorbing, you won't just survive the storms, you'll outgrow them. Strong minds don't resist the storm, they rise above it by becoming the all-encompassing sky. Number 3, care deeply, but not widely. There's a quiet kind of suffering that comes from relentlessly trying to care about everything. You want to be good, helpful, informed, and responsive. But somewhere along the way, you become utterly exhausted, drained by too many causes, too many conversations, and too many expectations. Like a single candle desperately trying to light every room, your flame begins to flicker and fade. That's when the Buddhist principle whispers a truth that most people tend to overlook: care deeply, but not widely. To care is inherently human, but to care wisely, that's true strength. To understand everything is to forgive everything, but not everything deserves your precious energy, not every problem, not every opinion, not every manipulative invitation to fight. The mind crumbles when it tries to fix what isn't its responsibility. What would happen if you stopped responding to everything that didn't align with your inner peace? Ask yourself, am I giving my energy to things that help me grow or things that drain me? The chronic people-pleaser inside you might struggle with that question, but you were not born to serve the noise. You were born to honor your unique path, and you cannot walk it fully if your hands are constantly full of other people's burdens. There's a story of a monk who was asked how he manages to stay so calm despite all the chaos swirling around him. He smiled serenely and said, "Because I know what's mine to carry and what isn't." That clarity is true freedom. In a world that relentlessly glorifies being everything to everyone, boundaries become sacred. Saying no isn't rejection, it's a quiet yes to your soul. This is the art of narrowing your focus and care. Not to become selfish or indifferent, but to become intentional. Focus your heart where it truly matters most, on what brings you genuine joy, what aligns with your deepest values, and what actively nurtures your inner peace. Don't scatter your love across a battlefield of meaningless opinions. Pour it instead into moments, people, and actions that authentically reflect your truth. In Buddhist thought, compassion isn't blind. It's discerning. It knows the crucial difference between truly helping and needlessly sacrificing yourself. It asks, is this truly worth sacrificing my inner peace? And if the answer is no, then walking away isn't weakness, it's profound wisdom. We're taught to spread ourselves thin, to respond to every notification, to stay constantly informed, even when the information is overwhelmingly toxic. But a strong mind knows better. A strong mind protects its flame. It chooses sacred over scattered. And that quiet choice changes everything. Start today. Audit your attention. Where is your precious energy going? Who or what is currently occupying rent-free space in your mind? Cut ties with the unnecessary. Simplify your care so that what remains becomes truly powerful. You don't need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders to be a good person. You simply need to carry your own unique purpose with clarity and love. And when you do that, when you care deeply for what truly matters, your light won't burn out. It will burn even brighter. Protect your peace like it's sacred because it truly is. Number 4, the freedom of non-attachment. Somewhere in your life right now, something feels inherently heavy. It could be a goal you're desperately trying to achieve, a version of yourself you're afraid to let go of, or a relationship that's no longer aligned with your core values but you're still clinging to it nonetheless. The weight isn't from life itself, it's from the attachment to how you think life should be. Attachment is the root of all suffering. That simple truth echoes throughout Buddhist philosophy like a quiet bell in the midst of a raging storm. But what does it actually mean to not attach? Is it apathy? Is it detaching from love altogether? No, it's the precise opposite. It's the deepest form of love, the kind that doesn't cling, doesn't desperately control, and doesn't fear change. Imagine a leaf floating gracefully in a river. It doesn't resist the current. It doesn't foolishly try to swim upstream. It moves with natural grace, with unwavering trust, and somehow it always finds its way. This is the freedom of non-attachment. It's not about giving up, it's about giving into the natural flow of life without letting it define who you are. Most of us carry around silent expectations of how things are supposed to unfold. And when life dares to take a different path, we suffer immensely. Not because life is inherently cruel, but because our attachments are rigidly inflexible. Ask yourself, what am I attached to that's causing inner friction? Maybe it's a rigid identity, like being the successful one, the strong one, or the perfect one. Maybe it's an outcome you've inexplicably tied your self-worth to. But here's the unvarnished truth: you can passionately pursue a goal without being attached to it. You can love deeply without fearing loss. You can exist fully without gripping life so tightly that it breaks in your hands. Letting go isn't weakness, it's profound wisdom. It says, I trust what is. I don't need to desperately force what isn't. And in that spaciousness, you'll suddenly notice something strange: peace rushes in. A lightness washes over you, like finally dropping a backpack you didn't even realize you were carrying. And in that gentle release, a crucial question arises: if I let go, what might I discover in its place? The answer is always profoundly surprising: clarity, presence, calm. A deeper connection to who you actually are beneath the labels, beneath the incessant noise. Non-attachment doesn't mean you stop caring altogether. It means you start caring correctly, with awareness, with freedom. You begin to see that true peace doesn't come from gripping life so tightly, it comes from flowing harmoniously with it. You don't drown by simply falling into water, you drown by stubbornly refusing to let go. Every single day gives you a chance to practice this profound truth. When a meticulously crafted plan falls apart, can you breathe through it without succumbing to panic? When someone vehemently disagrees with you, can you listen without desperately defending your ego? When unexpected uncertainty shows up, can you meet it with open curiosity instead of knee-jerk fear? That's non-attachment. That's true strength. Letting go isn't losing, it's remembering you were never meant to hold on so tightly in the first place. This video has been very valuable to you. Please click like and subscribe and tell others. Number 5. Respond, don't react. There's a fleeting moment, a split second between what happens to you and how you ultimately respond. In that small space lies everything: your peace, your power, and your freedom. But most people never even notice it. They react instantly, automatically, like a match struck in the dark. Words fly, emotions surge, damage is done, and later they ask themselves, why did I say that? Or, why did I let it get to me? Buddhism teaches us a life-altering truth: respond, don't react. Like a still pond perfectly reflecting the vast sky, clarity only emerges when the mind is calm. A disturbed pond, like a disturbed mind, reflects nothing but chaos. You've been there. Someone says something intentionally cruel. A meticulously laid plan suddenly falls apart. An unexpected challenge hits you like a tidal wave. Your body tenses. Your mind races. And before you even have time to think, you react. But what if you paused, just long enough to take a deep breath, to see your emotion without becoming it? That pause is immense power. It's what separates mindful awareness from unconscious habit. As the Buddha wisely said, do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. But to do that, you must first fully own your inner space, the unwavering stillness inside you that no storm can touch. Ask yourself, am I currently reacting out of raw emotion, or am I responding from a place of clarity? One inevitably leads to regret, the other, to profound wisdom. Reactions are fast, hot, and chaotic. Responses are slow, intentional, and crystal clear. Reaction is rooted in fear and ego. Response is born from unwavering presence. And presence can only emerge when you're fully awake in the present moment, when you've created enough spaciousness between the external trigger and your conscious choice. Picture this, a serene monk sitting in a noisy marketplace. Chaos swirls all around him. Children are shouting, merchants are arguing, dogs are barking. But he remains still and centered. Not because he's blindly ignoring the chaos, but because he's deeply rooted in himself. He's not controlled by the outside world. That's what it means to respond, to be centered enough that the world cannot easily shake you. Life will inevitably test you. People will deliberately push your buttons. Challenges will knock at your door, uninvited. But you always have a choice. Can I hold on to stillness in the midst of the noise? That's the essential question. The next time you feel the heat rising, pause. One deep breath, one silent second. That's the transformative difference between adding fuel to the fire and being the one who calmly puts it out. Mindfulness isn't passivity, it's discipline. It's actively training your mind not to bite the hook of every passing emotion. And in that disciplined practice, you begin to master yourself. You stop being a victim of what happens and start becoming the conscious author of how you respond. That's the mark of a strong mind, not control over the external world, but unwavering control over your inner world. True power isn't found in how loudly you react, but in how calmly you choose to respond. If this video has been helpful to you, subscribe and share it. Number 6, you are not your thoughts. Some days, your mind feels like a raging storm. Thoughts spinning wildly, doubts shouting loudly, memories echoing louder than your very breath. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that what you're thinking is the unvarnished truth. That every fear signals imminent danger. That every critical judgment is inherently valid. That every persistent worry is a concrete prediction. But Buddhism reminds us of a powerful truth: the mind is everything. What you think, you become. And yet you are not your thoughts. You are the vast sky, still, untouched, and encompassing. Even when storm clouds pass through. Most people never even question the relentless voice in their head, the one that whispers you're not enough, the one that replays past mistakes like a broken record. But that voice is not you, it's just noise. A pattern. An echo of past conditioning. Just like fleeting clouds, thoughts drift in and out, but they don't define the expansive sky. Your awareness, your ability to observe without attachment, is your true self. Not the fear, not the story, not even the limiting belief. Ask yourself, who am I beneath all this mental noise? Close your eyes and listen not to the loud voice, but to the silence beneath it. That silence is where true peace resides. That's the part of you that notices without impulsively reacting. That's the real you. But most of us confuse thoughts with the unvarnished truth. We feel sad and declare, I am sad. We feel anxious and proclaim, this is who I am. But sadness is simply a passing cloud, anxiety is simply weather. You are still the vast sky. There's a Buddhist practice called mental noting, where instead of reacting, you simply name the passing thought, worry, planning, fear, judgment. Just naming it creates immediate distance. It says, I see you, but I am not you. That spaciousness is where profound transformation begins. That spaciousness is your true power. Every time you recognize a thought and consciously choose not to get pulled into it, you break a link in the heavy chain of unconscious suffering. Ask again, is this thought helpful, or just a mindless habit of fear? Not all thoughts deserve your belief. Not all inner voices deserve your precious energy. Your job isn't to fight your thoughts, it's to see right through them, to observe them like fallen leaves floating down a gentle stream. Watch them pass. Don't desperately grab them. Simply let them be. And in that gentle letting go, crystalline clarity returns. This is how strong minds are built, not by having perfect thoughts, but by learning to disidentify from them. By remembering you are not the content of your mind, you are the awareness that notices the content. You are the observer, not the storm. That shift, subtle as it is the doorway to liberation. The next time your mind floods with self-doubt or sheer panic, take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is just a thought. And like every cloud, it will inevitably pass. The sky always remains. You always remain. Peace begins the moment you realize you are the vast sky, not the passing storm moving through it. Number 7. Simplicity is a superpower. We spend so much of our lives chasing, accumulating, and filling every corner of our time, space, and minds, foolishly convinced that more will finally make us feel whole. But what if it's not in the more, but in the less? What if the true peace you're relentlessly searching for isn't hidden behind one more achievement or possession, but beneath all the excess noise you've been carrying? Buddhism teaches a quiet truth: live simply, so that others may simply live. It's not just about external possessions, it's about internal freedom. Simplicity is a genuine superpower. Think of a lotus. It doesn't grow in the midst of chaos, it rises gracefully from still water, not through brute force, but through harmonious alignment. In the same way, your mind, your life, and your soul cannot fully bloom in the midst of clutter: emotional clutter, mental clutter, digital clutter, and expectation clutter. We cling to so much, and then we wonder why we feel so utterly heavy. Ask yourself, what am I currently holding onto that unnecessarily complicates my life? Maybe it's an outdated identity that no longer fits. Maybe it's trying to impress people who don't truly see you. Or maybe it's just the unconscious habit of constant busyness that makes stillness feel unsettlingly unfamiliar. The modern world relentlessly praises complexity: more goals, more speed, more stuff. But Buddhist wisdom gently invites us into a different rhythm, a deeper one, the one that doesn't shout, but whispers. The one that says, you don't need more to be more. Clarity doesn't come from gaining, it comes from letting go. When the water is still, it reflects clearly. When the mind is clear, you begin to see what truly matters. Simplicity isn't about embracing poverty, it's about cultivating deep focus. It's not the absence of ambition, it's the presence of intention. It asks, does this serve my inner peace? And if the answer is no, you gently release. You stop chasing every fleeting opinion, every distracting notification, every anxiety-inducing comparison. You create space to breathe, to listen, to simply be. That's where life actually lives, not in the relentless rush, but in the quiet afterward. And in that stillness, genuine beauty appears in the smallest moments: a deep, conscious breath, a walk in nature without distractions, a conversation that isn't rushed. You begin to experience life, not mindlessly consume it. You stop performing and start genuinely living. And suddenly, peace feels less like an achievement and more like a homecoming. Can I find beauty in less, not more? The answer is a resounding yes. If you're willing to let go of what unnecessarily weighs you down. Look at your life, your space, your thoughts, and your to-do lists. What can be simplified? What can be gently released? Because the simpler your life becomes, the stronger your mind becomes. Less distraction, more presence, less fear, more clarity, less noise, and more profound depth. This is the path of the strong-minded, not to dominate the world, but to declutter it from within. To walk lightly, think clearly, and love deeply without needing everything to feel complete. A calm, centered life isn't found by adding more, it's revealed by gently removing what was never truly needed. If this message has enlightened you, subscribe and share this valuable information. Number 8. Protect your energy like a sacred temple. There's a quiet truth hidden beneath the surface of our fast-paced, demand-driven world: your energy is sacred. You are not an endless well of resources. Your mind and emotions are not limitless. And yet, we often find ourselves carelessly giving our precious energy away, spreading it too thin to everyone and everything, leaving little for the one person who truly matters: you. Buddhism teaches us the importance of setting boundaries, not to isolate ourselves from the world, but to protect what is most precious: our inner peace. You are the gatekeeper of your inner monastery, the protector of your own well-being. Imagine your energy as a flickering candle. The flame burns brightly when carefully protected, shielded from the harsh winds and kept close to the warmth that feeds it. But if exposed too recklessly, the light sputters and dims. Just as a candle cannot burn without fuel, human beings cannot truly live without a spiritual life. Your spiritual life, your inner peace, your clarity, and your emotional well-being require nourishment. And if you are constantly giving without replenishing, if you are surrounded by negativity or energy-draining people, that delicate flame will inevitably struggle to survive. Ask yourself, am I spending my energy on what feeds me or what depletes me? We often let external forces, people, environments, and obligations, take more from us than we realize. We give our time to situations that drain us, our emotions to people who don't genuinely appreciate them, and our thoughts to worries that will never be resolved. In the process, we gradually lose touch with the very things that truly nourish us: self-care, silence, creativity, rest, and meaningful connections. Setting boundaries isn't about shutting others out, it's about ensuring that your precious energy is being used in ways that actively serve your growth and your inner peace. It's about saying no to things that ask for your time and energy but leave you feeling empty in return. It's about recognizing when a relationship, a task, or a habit is no longer aligned with who you are and who you truly want to become. And it's about honoring yourself enough to step away when necessary. In a world that constantly demands more from us, it's easy to forget that we are not required to give everything we have. Boundaries allow us to preserve our energy, to protect our inner sanctuary, and to offer our time and care only where it will be received with the same genuine respect. Creating space for yourself isn't selfish, it's absolutely essential. It's the practice of maintaining your inner strength so that you can show up fully for what truly matters. Ask, what boundaries do I need to set to honor myself? Maybe it's limiting your exposure to negativity, stepping back from toxic relationships, or simply learning to say no without feeling an overwhelming sense of guilt. These boundaries are the strong walls of your sacred temple. They protect your peace, your purpose, and your unwavering passion. And when you nurture these boundaries, you create spaciousness for the things that truly light you up, the things that genuinely energize your soul. You are the guardian of your own precious energy. Tend to it as you would a sacred flame, for it is your guiding light in the darkness. Number 9, surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. There's a quiet strength in surrender, a profound wisdom that is often tragically misunderstood. In a world where we're constantly told to fight, strive, and tightly control, the very idea of surrendering can feel like abject weakness. But the truth is, surrender isn't about giving up, it's about giving into the natural flow of life. Like water, which gracefully flows around every obstacle, surrender allows us to navigate through life without losing our way. It doesn't desperately fight the current, it embraces it. And in doing so, it moves with effortless ease and purpose, unburdened by unnecessary resistance. Buddhism teaches us that we simply cannot control everything. We cannot dictate every outcome, nor can we prevent life's inevitable challenges from arising. But what we can do is consciously choose how we respond. In the end, only 3 things truly matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things that weren't meant for you. In these words lies the true essence of surrender, not as a sign of defeat, but as an act of profound wisdom and grace. When we surrender, we release the incessant need to control what cannot be controlled. And in that release, we gain true freedom from suffering. Consider the times in your life when you have relentlessly fought against reality. When you stubbornly resisted what was happening, desperately hoping it would somehow change, only to find yourself utterly exhausted and even more frustrated. The truth is, resistance often creates more pain. It's in the active acceptance of what is, rather than in the futile attempt to change it, that we ultimately discover inner peace. Acceptance isn't about passivity, it's about embracing the present moment, no matter how difficult it may be, and finding power in that acceptance. Ask yourself, am I actively resisting life, or am I flowing harmoniously with it? Resistance stems from the deep fear of the unknown, the nagging anxiety of not having perfect control over every single detail. But in reality, life is inherently unpredictable. No amount of excessive worrying, meticulous planning, or desperate controlling can ultimately guarantee specific outcomes. And so, in embracing uncertainty, we stop struggling against what is and start flowing in harmony with what naturally comes. We stop endlessly fighting and start genuinely living in harmonious alignment with the unfolding of our unique journey. To surrender is to consciously let go of the illusion of control and allow life to reveal itself in its own time and form. It's about making peace with the mysterious unknown, with the things we simply cannot change. In surrendering, we free ourselves from the relentless grip of fear, worry, and expectation. Instead of constantly swimming against the current, we begin to trust the gentle flow, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. The practice of surrender doesn't make us weak, it makes us wise. It gives us the genuine courage to embrace life as it is, without resistance, without unrealistic expectation, and without fear. And in doing so, we find our true strength, not in meticulously controlling everything, but in letting go of the incessant need to. True power lies not in brute control, but in the profound wisdom to surrender, to flow, and to fully trust the journey. Consider subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth for weekly enlightenment. Number 10. Choose peace over being right. There's a profound power in consciously choosing inner peace over the compulsive need to be right. We live in a world where the intense desire to win arguments and relentlessly defend our own point of view can be all-consuming. But what if the real victory lies not in stubbornly being right, but in consciously letting go of the incessant need to be? Imagine a person constantly fighting battles, always arguing to prove their own worth, their ideas, their truth. It's like pouring water into a bowl that's hopelessly cracked. No matter how much you desperately give, it will never truly be enough. And in the end, all you're left with is a profound sense of emptiness. In trying to constantly be right, we lose sight of what truly matters, our inner peace. Buddhism offers a simple but powerful lesson: better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. This quote speaks directly to the heart of our daily struggles in modern life. We often engage in endless debates, desperately clinging to the rigid belief that we must be right in order to feel validated or heard. But in truth, this never brings us the satisfaction we expect. Arguments are like intense storms, brief and fierce, but often leaving destruction in their wake. They leave us feeling drained, conflicted, and deeply disconnected. The peace we so desperately seek slips further away the more we obsessively invest in the unwavering need to win. Ask yourself, do I want to be right, or do I want to be free? In any disagreement, there's always a conscious choice. You can stubbornly stand firm on your position, desperately trying to convince the other person of your infallible truth. Or you can choose inner peace, both for yourself and for the other person. This doesn't mean that you disregard your own core values or allow people to walk all over you. It simply means that you don't need to engage in every conflict, and you don't need to defend your ego at the expense of your own tranquility. Letting go of the incessant need to be right can be a transformative form of liberation. You release the unrelenting grip of your ego and allow spaciousness for genuine calm to enter. This conscious choice is a profoundly powerful one. It's not just about avoiding conflict for the superficial sake of harmony, but about actively prioritizing your inner peace over the temporary thrill of being validated in an argument. In relationships, at work, and in everyday interactions, the ultimate goal isn't to win the battle, but to cultivate a nourishing atmosphere where mutual respect and genuine understanding can flourish. The greatest victory isn't about proving that you are correct, but about creating an environment where both parties can feel genuinely heard, valued, and respected. When you consciously choose inner peace over desperately being right, you free yourself from the endless cycles of defensiveness and crippling anxiety. You don't need to constantly prove your worth or your ideas to anyone. Your inherent truth stands strong on its own without desperately needing constant reinforcement. In this newfound freedom, you begin to experience life more fully, unburdened by the heavy weight of constant conflict. You gain a profound sense of unshakable peace, one that cannot be easily taken away by anyone's fleeting opinion or ill-intentioned argument. Ask yourself, is this argument truly worth sacrificing my calm? More often than not, the quiet answer is no. True strength lies in choosing inner peace, in consciously stepping away from petty battles that only drain you, and in fully embracing the freedom that inevitably comes from gently letting go. Choosing peace is the ultimate act of authentic strength. It's not about relentlessly being right, it's about vibrantly being free. Bonus lesson: live with intent, not impulse. Imagine a skilled archer, poised and steady, eyes keenly focused on the distant target ahead. She doesn't impulsively shoot at every sound that echoes through the vast forest. Instead, she patiently waits for the precise moment when her aim is perfectly clear and her expertly placed shot will effortlessly hit the mark. This is what living with genuine intent truly looks like. In the constant chaos of everyday life, it's undeniably easy to act impulsively, reacting to every fleeting distraction, every intense emotion, and every sudden thought that crosses our minds. But what if we consciously chose to live with more heartfelt intention, with the focused clarity of that skilled archer? What would fundamentally change if we deliberately paused before impulsively reacting, carefully choosing our actions with mindful care? Buddhism teaches us that what we are today stems directly from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts powerfully build our life of tomorrow. This profound insight serves as a constant reminder that our present choices are the very foundation upon which we construct the life we deeply desire. It's not about blindly reacting to the constant chaos of the external world around us, but about consciously responding with unwavering purpose, aligning our actions with our deepest core values. When we habitually let our raw impulses rule our decisions, we invariably act from a place of underlying chaos, often regretting the painful outcomes. But when we deliberately choose to live with heartfelt intention, we are divinely guided by wisdom, clarity, and a profound sense of inner peace. Take a reflective moment and consciously ask yourself, what would the calm and purposeful version of me do today? Begin each brand new day with this powerful question and let it gracefully shape your mindful actions. In the chaotic whirlwind of everyday life, we often sadly forget to deliberately pause and gently check in with ourselves, to see if our daily decisions truly match the person we genuinely want to become. Instead, we tend to get swept up by the relentless waves of external pressures, often reacting to things without thoughtfully considering their lasting effects. But when we consciously ask this simple yet profound question, we immediately connect with a deep sense of purpose that cannot be easily shaken by external noise. Living with unwavering intention means deliberately slowing down and creating.